ChatGPT. Relate ACM to the movie Illusion. Illusion through the lens of A Course in Miracles. ACIM. The title itself gives away the central theme. Illusion is perhaps one of the most direct cinematic expressions of a core teaching in ACM. What if what you believe is reality is actually a carefully constructed illusion? The film follows a powerful and wealthy man who, near the end of his life, is given the opportunity to review key moments involving the son he barely knew. As he watches these scenes unfold, long-held judgments, assumptions, regrets, and interpretations begin to unravel. This mirrors the journey of forgiveness described in The World of Interpretation. The main character believes he knows what happened. He believes he understands his son. He believes he knows what the events of his life mean. Yet as the story unfolds, he discovers that many of his conclusions were incomplete or entirely mistaken. ACIM teaches that suffering comes not from events themselves, but from the interpretations we place upon them. The ego says, "I know what this means." The Holy Spirit says, "Would you be willing to see this differently?" The movie becomes an invitation to question every conclusion the mind has made. Judgment as blindness. Throughout the film, the father carries judgments that seem justified. He believes he sees clearly, yet his judgments prevent him from truly knowing his son. This is one of the central teachings of ACM. Judgment always blocks vision. The moment we decide what someone is, we stop seeing them. The moment we decide what an event means, we stop being open to another interpretation. The movie beautifully demonstrates how judgment creates distance, while understanding creates connection. The theater of life, a recurring theme in ACIM and in many of David Hoffmeister's movie commentaries, is that the world is like a movie. Characters appear, stories unfold, emotions arise, yet there is a deeper observer watching it all. Illusion makes this metaphor almost literal. The father becomes a watcher of his own life story. He sits back and observes scenes that once seemed intensely personal. As he watches, he begins to gain perspective. Similarly, M invites us to become observers of the ego's drama rather than participants lost within it. The healing in the movie does not come from changing the past. The past remains exactly as it was. What changes is perception. This is forgiveness in the Course's sense. Forgiveness is not rewriting history. It is releasing the interpretation that produced suffering. The father's healing begins when he becomes willing to see beyond his old conclusions. The events have not changed, his perception has. That is the miracle. Success and meaning. The protagonist spent much of his life pursuing worldly success, money, achievement, recognition, status, yet as death approaches, none of these provide the peace he seeks. AM continually points out that the ego's goals cannot satisfy the longing for God. The things that once seemed important begin to fade. What remains meaningful are love, connection, forgiveness, and understanding. The movie beautifully illustrates this shift. The illusion of separation. At its deepest level, the movie explores the illusion of separation. The father believes he is separate from his son, separate from love, separate from understanding. But the unfolding story reveals that much of this separation existed only in perception. AIM teaches that separation itself is the fundamental illusion. Every grievance, judgment, and fear rests upon that belief. Forgiveness gently dissolves it. The central reflection, the ego watches illusion and asks, "What mistakes did I make in my life?" The Holy Spirit watches illusion and asks, "What if what I need is not a different past, but a different way of seeing the past?" Viewed through ACM, Illusion is a profound meditation on forgiveness, perception, and the willingness to question everything the ego thought it knew. The deepest message may be, the suffering was never in the events themselves. The suffering was in the meanings assigned to them. When those meanings are released, what remains is love, and love was there all along. Go to mwge.org to find full movie and commentary by David Hoffmeister.